In this tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector, we're going to look at some tools that you can use to make your title editing creative and fun. Please look at the following example, and then we'll show you some of the techniques that you can use to use these kinds of stylistic things with titles. The first thing I have done is I've taken my video and put it on track number 1. It's simply 2 horse riders on a beach. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some music. So I have a music clip. I'll drag it and put it on track number 2. Now when I widen it by using the left mouse and dragging, I see very clearly that it starts out with a gap. I don't want a gap there, so I'm going to move the playhead to about the beginning. I can be as precise as I want, and then I'm going to hold the control key down and use T to split. I'll right click on the first part and I'll do cut and I'll say fill gap. Now the problem I have right now is my video is not long enough, and I want the video to be exactly the length of the audio clip. How do I calculate that? I can't simply stretch it and make it longer, but I'm going to look by right-clicking on the audio clip and click on Properties. And then I'm going to look at the duration. It's 20 seconds and 8 frames, so we'll close it out. I'll go back to the video clip. I'll click on the Edit button above the timeline, go to the very top and go to Speed. Now for new duration, I'm going to click on the seconds and type in a 20, and it matches perfectly now. The next thing I want to do is I want to time when my titles are going to show up. Now normally I would go in to a tool that allows me simply to put a beat marker in wherever the music is, but I found a nice shortcut that keeps you on the timeline. So what I'm going to do is play the music, and when I play it, I'm going to click up here so I don't have the clip selected. And we'll go back to the beginning. So with nothing selected, if I hit a marker, it will appear not on the clip, but on the timeline. So I'm going to play it, and every time I have a beat that I think might be a good candidate for the introduction of a title element, I'm going to press the M key on the keyboard. Let's see how that works. Okay, I didn't have to use any other tools to accomplish that. And so I can take the track and I can make it smaller again. Doesn't have to be big. But now I've got some timing I'm going to use for my title. Now the next thing I need is a title. We won't start from scratch, but I'll go to the title room and I'll go to Custom. And I have one here that's the same one that you saw in the example. And I'll drag it down and put it on track number 2. I'm going to drag it out to be the length of everything we've got going on here. I want to time it. So let's click on the title and go into our title editor. I'm going to click on the Advance button because I'm going to keyframe my title. Now I want the title to end up where it is, and I want it to do that in about 15 frames. So I'm going to move in here. I can also use the time indicator. I'll type in 0 and then I'll type in 15, press enter. It will move my playhead to that location. Yeah, I can stretch this out if I want. And here I'm in 15 frames. I'm going to click a position marker, and that's where the position will be in 15 frames. Then I go back to the beginning and set another position marker, but now I'm going to move it off and to the right. Now if I want to make sure I get this correctly, I need to go on Properties, and I need to open up the part that gives my position. Okay, my Y position and my X position. My Y position should be 8, 9, 6 when I'm done. So I'm going to drag this to the right off the screen. And I want it to be 8, 9, 6. If I click up here, now it's precise. Now it will move perfectly horizontal. Okay, that's just what I want. That's the first one. So I'm going to click on OK. Now what I want to do is I want the next one to come in on the heavy beat. So we'll go to the beginning. We'll have the next one come in here. So I'm going to move to this timeline marker and make sure I only have the title selected. Do Control T to split it. Now we'll inherit all the characteristics of the former title. That's why I'm using it this way. Let's play again. Okay, here's the next one. I'm going to have 3 titles. I'll click here and we'll do the same thing. We'll do Control T to split again. All right, so now I have 3 titles that are going to move in. They're all the same, so we're going to change each of them. So let's take the middle title and click on Edit. And we're going to change that to Make Your Reservation Today. I'll pause the video. And so I have Make Your Reservation Today. Now we're going to look at the timing of this. I'm going to click on it and click on Advanced. And let's see if it moves at all. We'll start at the beginning. Okay, there's no change here, so we're going to repeat that same process. We'll go in 0 and we'll go in 15. Press Enter. Now we're going to have a position mark. We'll go back to the beginning. We'll set another position mark. And we want to make sure our position is 0896. Okay, we'll move it off. And we'll set this horizontal. Okay, and that comes in perfectly. Then we do the third one as well. We change the title and we change the match the timing. I'll pause this while we do that. That looks really good. So the timing is great. Now there's one thing I want to add to make it stand out a little better. We're going to take track number 2 with the titles and drag them all down to track 3. And then we'll take track number 2 and we'll put in a color board. But we're going to do something unique to it. So I need to go to my media and go to color boards. I'm going to take a white one and drag it down to track number 2, and we'll increase the duration to match our project. It's a nice contrast between the letters, but I want to do one other thing. I want to tone the opacity down. It's kind of nice when you can see just a little bit of the image behind it. So that's our background to our letters. The next thing I want to do is add something later where the music changes again. So when we get to this beat here, I'm going to bring in yet another element that we're going to use for background, but it's not going to be a color board. I'm going to go to my background images and we'll find a background image that we think will give us that we want in this project. I'll bring in my background image. I've gone to my background images and I've marked this one as a favorite to save time for the recording. So we'll take and drag that down and we'll put it in a higher numbered track. And we'll increase the duration to match our project. And so we have this and we're going to start off the screen. And then we're going to click on Advanced. Let's have it come on a little bit slower than the other parts. We'll start a position value here. It's where it starts. And then we'll move to the next beat marker. And then we'll slide it over something like this. The other thing I want to do in this case is I want to put a border on it. And I'm going to make it smaller than 3. Let's make it like a 2. Press enter, and let's see what happens here. Then we have the last titles we're going to use in this project. I'll click on OK, and the titles will appear on top of this board. For the last title section, we're going to simply go to My Title Room, and I'll click a generic My Title and drag it down to a higher numbered track. I'm going to put it at the beat marker of this beat here, and we'll drag it down and make it stretch out to the remainder of the project. So I have my title, and we want to change that. Let's change that to Summer Session. I'm going to hit enter. The default format here is to have it centered. I don't want it centered. I want it to the left. So I click on edit, and we're going to go to our alignment tools, and we're going to go to left aligned. Now I'm going to do some advanced editing. And so we're going to start with some animation. I'm going to go to one of the new animation tools, which is called a blur wipe. Double click on it. Okay, so I want it to go faster, so we'll shorten it up. Something like that. And then we want to do another one, so I click on the T in the upper right corner. That gives us another title. It defaults in the center of the screen. I will say starts, and we'll drag it down here. And we'll have it so it comes in on the beat marker. We'll do our blur wipe to it again, and make it about the same duration as the other one. Then we're going to add one more, and then I'll do May 15th. And we'll drag it down. And this one we're going to start on the last beat marker. We'll do our blur wipe again. And this time I want to change one other feature. I'll go back to properties. We'll change color. I'll turn it to kind of a golden color. That's something like that. Click on OK. And let's see what that looks like. So that is a look at several different tools you can use to modify your titles, keep them creative and fresh and exciting. We hope that you can use one or more of these when you're working in projects in CyberLink PowerDirector.